Hello everyone, this is Ronnie from YouTube. This is a channel about raw vegan stuff, and in this video I want to talk about maybe, I don't know what you'd call it, backup plan or stuff that I sometimes have in a raw vegan diet. And the diet that I do is mostly fruit, and people, sometimes have problems with getting enough fruit. And one of the classic problems that people have is eating enough fruit to maintain their body weight, and so there's a number of different reasons for that. I don't need to go into that in this video, but when I was getting into raw vegan lifestyle, I used to listen to a guy called Durian Rider, who's on YouTube still, and he used to be a raw vegan, and I think he still believes that that's the best diet, but he doesn't do that anymore. And he would talk about under eating being like the biggest problem, the biggest drawback, and he would talk about it a lot, and he would basically call it being undercarbed. If someone didn't have enough carbohydrates, like, he would basically say your brain doesn't work properly, your emotions don't work properly, you can't train, you can't think, you can't look after your kids, all these things, like, if you're undercarbed. And one time I remember he was asked, how do you know when you're undercarbed? And he said, his answer was really interesting to me. He said, you feel vulnerable. And that is such an interesting answer, because most people think about hunger and how much to eat and everything else as a physical feeling of emptiness or whatever. But what he was actually talking about was a change in his emotional state. And what's so interesting about that is it's so true. But it's not like you can't, obviously you don't want to go down the road of thinking every time you feel bad it's because you're undercarb. That's the wrong way of looking at it. But if you've not eaten enough for the last couple of days, if you're a more experienced raw vegan, you probably know that. You probably know you haven't eaten enough. If you haven't eaten enough, you will experience various symptoms, but one of them is this change emotionally, where you can start to feel negative. You can start to feel like things are getting on top of you. You can start to feel like you want to quit. You want to stop doing everything. Everything's getting stressful. And then you go and have a big smoothie, and 20 or 30 minutes later, you're fine again. Or maybe an hour later, however long it takes. But this happened to me last night. So yesterday, I didn't have any bananas. I've not got any bananas. I need to buy some bananas and stuff. I didn't have anything, so I didn't eat enough yesterday. And which I don't mind too much, because I've got a little weight to lose, which is kind of unusual, I guess people would think, for a raw vegan or whatever. So I didn't eat enough. I had grapes, cherries. I mean, I ate a lot, but it's not enough. And so late last night I couldn't sleep properly. That's another symptom for me of not eating enough. It's like I can't sleep well enough, or I can't sleep, or I'm up a lot later than I should be. So I'm up later a lot more than I should be, and I'll maybe be craving things that I don't like. I'll have more avocados or something, or I'll have something more than I usually have, like avocados or something. It's a good sign that I've not eaten enough. So when I got up today, I thought I really need to replenish myself of calories and all that. Didn't have bananas, so what do I do if I don't have bananas? And I could have got dates, actually. I didn't think about doing that. I don't usually get dates. But what I did, this pineapple juice, and an innocent smoothie. And now I feel a lot better, by the way. I don't feel any of the See, last night I was thinking of just giving everything up, but I feel good. And it's just that shift of like, I know now what it was. Like last night, I'm like kind of struggling to fall asleep, whatever. And I knew it was like I hadn't eaten enough. And it happens so quick like that. And people that aren't on a raw vegan diet, they don't get it because they can't help themselves from eating. Like you're addicted to eating, right? Or addicted, sorry, addicted to very cooked food or whatever. So you don't just go a day not eating enough cooked food. It basically doesn't happen. But I can still have a day where I don't eat enough. I've probably done it quite a lot actually. But yeah, so I'm happy to use these juices. And these are the only, I don't really make my own juice, so this is the only juices that I use. I usually actually have like this fresh, if I have it on a more regular basis, I usually have this fresh squeezed stuff. In the US, you've got lots of fresh squeezed orange juice options. Sometimes they're kind of expensive, but you've got a lot of those. And this is 500, is it 500 or 600? This is 500 calories, and this is around about 500 calories. So that's 1500. So I mean I do that now and again. I don't want to live on these juices, but I don't have a problem with having them. And I would personally prefer those, then I'll go out and have a baked potato. That doesn't make sense to me to do that. That's a completely different mindset, It's a totally different thing to me to go out and have a baked potato. So if I go out and have a baked potato, I'm just gonna turn into a baked potato diet person, That's what I would do. I'm not saying that that's what you would do, but I heavily predict that is exactly what every person would do as well, because I don't think we're that different. And I know that there's some people that say that I'm a raw vegan 95% and I have a little bit of cooked food now and then. I don't really believe them, any of them. I think they have cooked food every single day, which is fine. And they might be like, they do a week on fruit, they do a few days on fruit as like a challenge or something, and it works out that they don't eat cooked food all the time. But people, like, if someone's doing a diet that is a lot of raw food, but 1,000 calories of potatoes a day, or 800 calories of potatoes a day, and therefore the potatoes are making up more than half their diet, sometimes they'll still blame the fruit and the raw food, and they'll say, why does this raw food diet not work for whatever reason? And you're like, well, most of your diet is potatoes. You can't really call this a raw diet. So yeah, I use those things, I wouldn't say all the time, but definitely on days where I think I've not eaten enough here, I've not got enough supplies, and I'll just have one of these or a smoothie like that. I was thinking about it. I probably, to have something that is a little bit more whole food-ish, I would have maybe had dates, a smoothie. I've not had a date smoothie in a long time, which is quite a nice smoothie actually, which is just dates blended with a lot of water. You don't just add a little bit of water and have a big thick thing. You want a lot of water and it comes out like a milk. It's probably not the best thing either, but on this level, I'm not going to worry about that too much, I'm not going to worry about, is this the absolute best thing right now? I want to stick to my own dietary guidelines of fruits and vegetables, fruits making up the majority of the calories, whole fruits, but I don't have any strict thing about whole fruits or smoothies, really. To me, I don't think there's a huge difference. I'm sure there is a difference, and I think I do think there's a difference, but is it a difference that is going to lead you towards like arthritis or heart disease or no? Like it's not that kind of difference. It's a difference in I think your body probably prefers chewing the food and all the stuff that happens with that, and And if you chew and eat 10 bananas, it is a different experience than a smoothie of 10 bananas. It's a really different experience, definitely. But it's not a huge difference on a day-to-day basis. Like, if you're trying to get high from your food all the time, or you're trying to make it perfect or whatever, then maybe that's your goal. But I've not known many people that they, on the daily basis, eat all their bananas whole. Some of you might say you do that, but I've not seen many people, of the people that I've known that have done this for a long time, I don't know many of them that sit down every day and eat 10 bananas whole. Some of them will dry bananas, make an ice cream out of bananas, make a smoothie out of bananas, mix them with something, but not sit down and eat them, because it takes time. I think that's the big thing, is in our modern lives, we feel like we don't have time. We actually do have a lot of time, probably. Like, you're watching this video on YouTube, you could be eating a few bananas or whatever. But it just feels like a long time and a kind of commitment, whereas a smoothie is kind of quick. So, yeah, the purpose of the video is really just to say that I'm not a perfectionist with the diet, and that's why I keep doing it, I guess, in some way. Like, for long periods of time, I won't have something like a bottle of juice for a long period of time. But I will have a bottle of juice now and again. If I go to a restaurant, I will have a glass of orange juice or whatever juice they've got. If I go to someone's house, I'll have some juice or whatever they've got. So I don't have a big problem with juice or no juice or pasteurized juice. It is pasteurized. You can get fresh juice, sort of fresh-ish juice. I don't have a big problem with the pasteurized. It isn't raw, but once again, the difference is not big enough for me to worry too much about it, and it doesn't tend to make me want to consume more of it. It's not something where I go, man, if I had a, Chempedak here, or I could have pineapple juice from a bottle, like, I know what I would have. Whereas, when you get to that point where you're eating cooked food, you're never choosing the fruit over the cooked food, you're always choosing the cooked food. So, I'm just looking at myself, sorry. So, thank you for watching the video. Any questions? No one ever really asked me any questions. I know you think I don't know anything about this diet and you just watch this channel to laugh at me or something, but I start to think I'm more right about more things about this lifestyle than most people. Maybe not all the people that are doing it long term, but than most of the people giving some advice out there. So thank you for watching again. If you want to learn more about the Fruit Festival, you can go to fruitfest.co.uk. We've got a festival, we've got an event, a holiday camp. It's really confusing, the Fruit Festival. It's like, when I've been thinking about it, it's like a holiday camp. I don't think it's really like a festival. And then it's maybe it's a retreat. It's just a big retreat. Maybe that's the word for it. Something like that. Okay, thank you very much.